Okay. Table ambassador leadership best practices. Leadership, communication, education, and accountability. We're going to kind of fly through this. We already stipulated that you're a leader by virtue of the fact that you agreed to be a table ambassador. A leader, by definition, is somebody who has the ability to influence others. Would you say that's a safe statement to make in your role as a table ambassador and everything else that you do in your professional lives? Okay. Communication. How do you maximize your communication body of work with divergent individuals? Well, guess what? You will have, conceivably, 4 generations possibly at your table. Now, does that matter to you?
Yes.
Tell me why. Yes, Danny, that's right.
Because you want to be sensitive to their needs, and everybody's there for a different reason.
Okay, and what might be the need of a baby boomer?
To find a job,
Could be,
find a mentor.
could be. And what about somebody that's Daniel's age? And Daniel, you said you're 24, correct? Yes. Okay, so what might be his need? And I'm stereotyping now, but Daniel might come in, because he's like my youngest son. My oldest son is 32, my youngest son is 24. He might come in, the session may have already began. Claudia is facilitating this table discussion, but Daniel is still texting after Claudia is giving her open remarks. What should Claudia do? Or what should she have done at the outset?
Well, people to put away their.
Yeah, what's happened in meetings that I've been in, it's made clear at the very beginning, you turn off your cell phone, you put away your BlackBerry.
Okay, how do you say that as a table ambassador, though? Would you say it with the same bite that you just said it?
No.
Okay, so tell me how you would say it. Let's help Claudia out here. What do you say to a group of 6 individuals that are professionals who might have been downsized, right-sized, or capsized recently, and they're already feeling the ill effects of that process? What do you say to them? Yara?
Please refrain from texting during the meeting.
Okay, let's get another approach on this, because those are
It's different when it's
statements.
the first Mondays, which is a more social event, and
Yeah.
it's not, your company didn't send you to this meeting where someone can tell you, turn off your cell phone. You're at a voluntary social event,
Okay.
and perhaps one of the reasons you're there is because of this, it's obnoxious to have your cell phone on, but maybe you're trying to earn a living too, and you gotta take that call.
Absolutely.
How do you do? I think that you can't just say,
Sure.
it's not like being an IBM employee, we're going into our professional
retreat.
meeting now, and we
Precisely.
have to turn it
Right.
off.
So let me suggest to you what you might say at the beginning. Folks, we understand you're all busy individuals. We embrace and value every one of you. We'd like to ask you, remember, it's easier when you ask a question than you make a pointed statement. We'd like to ask everyone if they would, one of the ground rules is that if we can put our cell phones on vibrate, if you have to take a call, would you please excuse yourself? That would be really great from the table. Now, tell me how that sounded. And it also, I think, embraces, Charlotte, what you just said. You're not trying to restrict people's ability to take calls, but it's a different thing if somebody's sitting at the table, there are 6 people there, you're the table ambassador, and they're having a conversation at the table while you're trying to facilitate. Now, these are emancipated adults. Do you need these ground rules?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you do.
These days you do.
I think you do.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things I always say, and again, you don't have to be as pointed, ask the question, because you want them to buy in. Folks, what do you think about having some ground rules? Why don't we put our cell phones on vibrate? If you have to take a phone call, we certainly understand. If you could just excuse yourself from the table, that would be really wonderful. What do you think about that? Okay, so you ask them, okay? And hopefully everybody will do what? Kind of buy into that. And it's all about building a bridge before you cross it. And I find out when you're more transparent and translucent at the beginning, people respect that. And then sometimes, and I teach this to mediators, sometimes what if the person's being particularly unruly? You've given them the ground rules twice, they're still having a conversation at the table, and you don't want to do this, but you may have to. You may need to take, hey folks, can we take a short break? And then just kind of pull the person to the side and just have a conversation. Remember, your role is not to be confrontational, which is what Yarrow said earlier. You want to try to validate this person as a professional, but you don't want to embarrass them either. Because one of the things you want to do is you want to praise in public and give feedback or criticize in private. And if they're being unruly, you want to do it off to the side. Because again, to Charlotte's point, you want people to come, it's a social event. They want to have a good time. but there are some rules of engagement for civility and respect. How do you validate folks? After they've hopefully given a brief introduction, what do you say to them? Let's say it's Carla. She's giving her background and she's in the arts, she's an actor. How do you give her validation besides looking at her? What do you do, folks? Claudia, what do you do? How do you validate Carla?
As part of the introduction?
Yes, she just introduced herself. You're the table ambassador.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, that's fine. Anyone else want to jump in? Let me tell you how to do it. You would say, so let me understand, Carla. So you said you've appeared on Broadway. You said that you occasionally take classes at NYU on theater and arts. You said that you live on the Lower East Side. You said that you're a grandmother and that you grew up in New York City. Is that a fair reflection of what you've told us so far?
Absolutely.
What could she say at that point? One of two things. What could she say, Amy?
Yes or no?
Yes or no?
You heard right.
What is it that she needs to hear?
That you
What
were
I
listening.
just said to her. And notice how I said, Carla, let me see if I understood you thus far. You do the paraphrase, you summarize, and then you ask. Is what I said a fair reflection of what you've told the group so far? Okay? Now, I've made some of that stuff up.
The
as I was going
grandmother
along.
part especially.
Right, exactly. I was just making things up. And I apologize if I offended you. I'm a grandfather, so hey, I embrace it. But no, I was just making stuff but you get the point.
Yeah,
You want to
sure.
make sure that you validate the people at the table.
You recap what you heard.
Absolutely. Some credence from this. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Who's the author of that
Covey.
book? Covey. Habit number 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So it gets back to this whole notion that this is not about Claudia, it's about Claudia's understanding of what Carla's trying to tell the rest of the group. To your point, Ed. Yara, yes.
Oh, I would also give positive reinforcement. I wouldn't say, oh my God, I can't believe you're a grandmother.
There you go.
I would say,
Yeah, that's the foot to mouth disease
I
thing.
would, oh, that's wonderful. Do you have any pictures of your grandchildren?
There you go.
or-
Absolutely. There you go. Or you may say, hey, I'm a grandfather as well, a grandparent as well. Good for you. Wonderful. You know, so those are the kind of things that are important. And what's the positive reinforcement thing? Is that a good thing? Do people want to hear that?
Yes.
Why? If it's delivered in a genuine way. Can people tell when you're being disingenuous?
Yes.
Absolutely. So make sure the delivery is genuine. Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. Mother Teresa. So making a nice gesture or saying something kind is certainly acceptable. Now, you said early on, hey Arthur, that was pretty cool the way you remembered our names. Well, Dale Carnegie, who called himself a good old boy from Missouri, you know what he said? A man or woman's name to him or her is like music to their ears. If you don't remember anything else that night, at least I can remember that Ed is from Plainview. He's a businessman. He likes to wear really nice ties. So every time during the course of the evening when I see Ed, how's it going? What's happening? Is there anything you need? And you do it in a genuine way.